On the sunny coast of southern France, DreamHack Masters took to Marseille in the spring of 2018. A tournament stacked with every top team in the world and a few up-and-coming underdogs. We were about to see some first-class Counter-Strike action.
To play second fiddle to this one plan. Flash and smoke over towards highway. He spots more players and he's going to get. He's about to get pushed and the Vice is going to get it done. The back is going to get found. Dupree still lurking in the shadows of Boiler as Ave now trying to lead by example. He's picked up 3 and Dupree's got the final.
I remember that tournament as one of my best individually, actually. We brought in Magisk. We had a lot of time to prepare. We had some qualifiers online, stuff like that. We were so ready for that tournament.
Coming into the tournament, Astralis had shown great results online but had missed out on being on top of the podium for some time.
Going into the quarterfinal at DreamHack Master Marseille, I knew that of course it was going to be tough for us, but I still felt like that we were playing so well coming into the tournament and I felt like that we could beat anyone.
They're all up there.
Rain down to 19. Rain is has to be sacrificial. Oh my goodness, Zipex, that was beautiful. He schools them in the ramp.
When we played the games, it just felt so natural, so easy. Like every guy just kept making 2 or 3 kills when somebody ran into them. So, I mean, if you play like that, then it's going to be easy to win Counter-Strike games.
JW's got the off in his hands.
He's by the fountain, going position, and he gets the headshot on Flusher as well. My God. To the side, Golden trying to find his way in. Device going to take 2 in a row, and that might be enough. Quad kills to end it. All of the headshots, and 16-5.
After an easy road to the grand finals, only Navi stood between them and the trophy.
I felt like it would be a tough final, but I don't think that the Navi players could actually get into our heads, or like every time we just saw them, we just got a multi-frag or something like that.
Navi had destroyed the opponents on their side of the bracket and came into the finals with Simple in fantastic shape.
They have enough time to rotate, they're not going to go for it. Here comes Regis, he's not going to get the spray on point, but Blade could. Through the smoke, he's trying to find a way to kill Simple, who simply will not fall. And now Blade to be pushing this one, and he's got the kill! Astralis are victorious!
After 1 year without a trophy, DreamHack Masters Marseille and Magisk propelled Astralis to the stars.
Astralis blazed a trail through DreamHack Masters Marseille. But will they crash out of the group stage today, or can they reach the top again? This is DreamHack Masters Winter.
DreamHack Masters Winter is brought to you by Intel, Corsair, Monster Energy, and MSI.
Welcome to the final day of the group stage of DreamHack Masters Winter 2020. My name is Hermione Granger, and I am joined by Ron and Hagrid. Boys, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. You stole my joke. I was waiting for that. I was thinking, I was a nice color scheme, Hermione. But I guess you're the funniest one on the desk.
You know what it is? I think we're just like, it's osmosis. we're all equally
becoming one?
funny. Yeah, exactly. I've diluted your sense of humour over the past week.
It's scaring me a
so
little bit.
I do want to talk about this because I feel like we need. Well, actually, you know what we're going to do before we get into the really serious chat here about Connor's dietary habits. We do actually need to thank our incredible sponsors who make this possible. So Monster Energy, Corsair, Intel, MSI, and the US Air Force. Thank you very much for supporting Counter-Strike. But yeah, I have some serious concerns right now because yesterday Connor ate, I think, 5 burgers.
Yeah, well, everybody's concerned like I'm the only one. I mean, I'm fine.
I can't wait to do it again tonight.
I'm doing great.
But maybe not 2 Big Macs for breakfast next time on Connor.
Again, we keep talking about takeaways. That we're going to get onto the important takeaways right now. We've got to talk about yesterday because Astralis, Scrawny, looks stronger than ever.
Yeah, it turns out Glaive's calling, and wow, did it ever look that way. I mean, Liquid, they hadn't played Astralis for so long, and this was the matchup of 2019. So to finally get a taste of it again with this new Liquid, the additions of Grim and Moses, you know, it was a cool test. It was a great test, and it was a great first half, 10-5 score for Liquid. But then Glaive, just getting his pieces rotated into all of the right spots, really maximizing, I would say, a return of form from Xyp9x. We saw them then transition the series into Inferno, where we knew Liquid would have some problems, and boy, did they ever. You know, Astralis looking better than ever. Look at this call-out we had, where those 2 players try to line up grenades and get a face full of Glock through the smoke. It's just so good. This is what we want from Astralis. Clear wins, and also promise from Liquid, but they're not there yet.
I want to know who was calling in their match against Godson then. We've got to ask them later today.
Yeah, they said they changed some stuff coming into the tournament, and I would just assume by the way they organized, it would probably be Glaive to come in if they're going to do, like they're not going to switch in the middle of a tournament because they have so much preparedness, but yeah, don't exactly know what happened there, but they got it together for Liquid.
Well, let's talk about Furia because they're looking like the strongest team from NA. Yes, they're playing in Europe, but the fact that they're still here while Team Liquid, unfortunately, have had an early bath really says something.
Yeah, by results, they've outdone EG, they've outdone Liquid, and now they are outdoing themselves. They beat G2 after a really tough loss in a 2-0 series at Blast. They get the revenge here at DreamHack Masters in a 2-1 fashion, and it's a series where they could have won all 3 maps. I think on map 2 it came close. Nico had this lights-out performance in the second half, and Furia threw some after plans, but they brought it back on Nuke, and they looked extraordinarily strong.
Well, we have actually done the draws for the playoffs, so we can reveal who will be facing who. Obviously, we haven't decided exactly who is going to be facing the 4 teams already qualified, but you can have an idea of what's at stake here. So for me, it's really interesting that we could see a Mouse Cloud9 rematch, and I know that's what you're hoping for.
Absolutely, because Mouse definitely, they narrowly won, but looked like the better team that were in full control. So maybe Cloud9 can keep up in terms of talent, but now it's going to need to be game plan that gets them over the line versus Mouse. That's what makes this one so tasty, if it comes.
Can you imagine Gambit Astralis?
Yeah.
Astralis.
I mean, just to see Gambit now, like, I mean, they look incredible in terms of form, right? They've got that open win in their back pocket. They just dismantled Cloud9 and a dominant win over Complexity. And I think, you know, while there's questions on Cloud9, Complexity have shown us good things lately. The fact that Gambit would then have a proper Tier 1 opponent, whew, can't wait.
Well, let's see when those matches are being played, because today we're going to be saying goodbye to 4 teams from the European region. So we'll be kicking off things on the A stream of Cloud9 versus Team Spirit, and Tom Biz and Vince will have FaZe Clan versus Complexity, followed by North Godsent. And that's going to be interesting because the winner of that one is going to go up against Heroic. So if North, by some small miracle, manage to get through to the playoffs, then it's going to be Cajun facing his old team. And I don't think that even happens that often, to be honest.
It is possible. It's just hard for them once they get through all the teams that they face after there on out.
Well, you know what? I can never resist an opportunity to talk to Lekra. I literally do not care what team he's playing for. So when Get Right became our resident reporter for the DreamHack Masters Winter, I was really keen to see if he would want to talk to lovely Jonas, and it turned out he did. So here's what happened when Lekra and Get Right got together.
For almost my entire life, playing Counter-Strike was everything, and it was everything I dreamed of. I won trophies, traveled the world, and played in the biggest arenas. I spent my career as a player being asked the same stupid questions.
How do you feel?
Over and over
What went wrong?
and over again.
You had a terrible CT side. How did you turn it round to take the game? Why are Astralis the best team in the world?
But now I have decided to face a new challenge, to interview the players I once faced on the servers. Because if Frankie can do it, I mean, anyone can do it. So, hi Lekro, how are you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, wonderful. If you go back to 2016, when you were playing with Godsend, when you got basically the golden opportunity for, the rumor was saying that you were playing matchmake with Pronax, and then all of a sudden you actually got a chance to play with a former major champion. And how was that? And like, how did they really find you, basically?
I think I played a little bit with Public Clear in the beginning, and we got invited to FPL by accident. But yeah, so basically we got invited, and I started playing some FPL, and I was really annoying to play against. People heard that, and then Twist said that we should try me out because he thought like I was annoying and people didn't like me in FPL. So,
what do you mean with wrongly invited?
Yeah, it was another team was supposed to be invited, and they thought we were them, and we got the invite. So it was kind of messy.
How is that?
I'm glad it happened.
I mean, surely, I mean, it helped you on your journey in the CS career here, wise, but still at the same time, like that doesn't make any sense at all. How was it to be playing next to an in-game leader, such a golden, since it was such a new and unproven in-game leader? That time period, because it was like a little bit longer than a year you guys played together, right?
It was a bit scary in the beginning because I didn't know much about him, but just later on it showed how good gamble or a pickup it was.
It was. I mean, you guys were shocking the world when you win the Katowice over FaZe. There was like one of the most craziest finals, and then all of a sudden you went to win that Chinese tournament as well. Eventually, they made a cut for you to join, you know, us in NIP. In that time period, especially in Fnatic, and then coming to us, like, what was the mindset and how was the feeling like towards the end in Fnatic?
I think we played in game really well together, but we didn't really mesh outside of the game. And when it's going bad and you don't get really well outside of the game, then it gets like ruptures and it's kind of rough. So I think that's basically what happened, that we didn't really agree outside of the game. So that's kind of why we drifted apart in a way. And that's also a reason why I was excited to join NIP, because I knew about all the guys there. So I was just excited to like get back on top and show that I could help us like revive ourselves kind of in that way.
How was your gut feeling when you took over? Was it like desperate of hope, or was it more like, okay, I'm ready for a challenge and I'm going to do the best for it?
I thought I could really make it work. And to become an in-game leader, you really have to believe in yourself as well. So if you ever doubt yourself and stuff like that, it's not going to end up very well. And so, yeah, I think it was starting to go really well for us. I think it was it Katowice when we did really well and then things started falling apart. So I think if things went upwards from there, I think we could have become really good. But we had some issues within the team that kind of stopped it, I think.
Everyone would probably say the same if we were talking the group again about it. Since after that, Twist came into the team, and things was looking much better than before then. Were you feeling some uncertainty regarding that team, or were you like unclear in general after that time period?
It was good and it was bad. You could kind of feel it in the atmosphere a bit. Since Forrest also, he was definitely not agreeing on the replacement of you. You could kind of feel it, like he was upset about it and how it was handled. Like after you changed, the atmosphere changed also, both in the way that Forrest didn't want to, and both you had like you were a big voice in the team. So that way it was like a big change for me. And but of course, at the same time, I think everyone felt like we needed some kind of change. It didn't really matter, I don't think, who it was. It's like when I said when Forrest left, we like needed a restart. That's the main thing I think we needed.
So it was a big change, but it was just needed for the team to like move forward instead of backward.
Yeah, that's what I think. Like the main reason.
Okay. I feel I'm done at least.
Yeah, I gotta go. Yeah.
I love Lekro. I know you're not a massive North fan, but because Lekro's there, can you like them a little bit more?
I don't know what you're talking about. I like North. They're a great team.
So, it's the Pro Tour, then we're going to look at the current points standing for Europe and North America. This is the points allocation. Actually, we're going to skip the points allocation. You know 400 points goes to the #1 European team. But we're going to talk about North America because this is now fixed. So Furia, we already knew that they were a shoo-in. for Katowice. Evil Geniuses, they couldn't come to Europe to play, so their points stand. And Liquid, because they went out yesterday, that means they earn no points, so they will have to play in for their place for Katowice. And Chaos, who will soon be ex-Chaos, will also have a play-in invite. The question is, are they going to stick together? Because there's lots of things happening in North America right now. I know that some of those players are determined to keep playing Counter-Strike. Some of them may be tempted away by Valorant, so we'll soon see. And with Europe, we're still waiting to find out what the points are going to be, because obviously we've still got quite a lot to play for, but Heroic and Vitality are definitely going to be going to Katowice. And you would expect them to, because they've had a fantastic year.
For sure. Yeah, they're the success stories.
So, we are going to have some teams eliminated today. We're going to have 4 teams eliminated today. We don't have the bracket on screen right now, so I'm just going to do this off the top of my head, unless we can get the bracket, because that will make things easy, because it is day 4, and I cannot remember every single pairing that we've got today. Thank you so much. Let's take a look at Group A. Thank you, production. So here we go. So Complexity FaZe, Spirit Cloud9. Obviously, Spirit Cloud9 is coming up very soon. Complexity FaZe, though, boys.
Yeah, I think Complexity, if they can bounce back from their game versus Gambit, which I think they will, then I think we're looking at FaZe getting eliminated. Mohan, you touched on this yesterday. The amount of respect that was coming out of the Complexity players when they lost to Gambit, I think really recognizes the fact that Gambit are on a very strong uptrend, and Complexity, they'll take that loss, they'll learn from it. You know, that could be the start of something in those two teams head-to-head. But versus FaZe, when we see Contact take a map off them, when we saw Spirit 2-0 them down into the lower bracket, I just don't understand how you can't believe in Complexity enough to get their way into the playoffs.
Yeah, they're probably getting 2-0'd right there. It's been a rough tournament for FaZe. They're not in the right mindset. And losing to Gambit is just kind of like just respect the Gambit more than anything else, because they've proven a lot so far. It's going to be for Gambit about will they lose twice to some of these teams.
So in the lower bracket of Group B, G2 versus Astralis, that is our second game of the day on the A stream. And then Godsent North. Yes, and then Godsent North. So yeah, I mean, this is going to be the weakest part of any of these teams that get through 2 playoffs. So it's lucky kind of for both Godsent and North that they have to play against each other. Yeah, both of their odds in playoffs are very low, right? Yeah, but I feel like Godsent's going to take that one, because it turns out Emmy is my current favorite player in this entire tournament. We are going to take a quick break, but when we come back, it's going to be Cloud9 versus Team Spirit.